Global agriculture produces enough food to feed every citizen of the world, and yet many people around the world still do not have enough food to feed themselves or their families. The problem is that the production and distribution of food is extremely unbalanced. On one end of the scale, there is serious overproduction and overconsumption. On the other, hundreds of millions of people are living in conditions of food scarcity and hunger. Today, there are about 1 billion overweight individuals in the world, and almost the same number of undernourished people. More than poor harvests, increasing hunger results from high domestic food prices, low incomes, and increasing unemployment. Clearly, food security will not be realized until all people at all times have physical and economic access to sufficient, safe, and nutritious food that meets their dietary needs for an active and healthy life. On a global scale, this goal has yet to be reached. The issue is complex, and there is no single solution. However, one very important way to create positive change is community-based agriculture. That is, enabling individuals access to food grown in their own local regions. More and more, people doubt the long-term safety and viability of industrial agriculture. This has led to major growth in organic farming and local food production over the past few decades. Industrial farming methods routinely contaminate soil and water with the use of pesticides, herbicides, and chemical fertilizers. Poor soil management means that plants have a harder time trying to grow, and poor water management leads to waste and contamination. Biodiversity is another important agricultural consideration. Growing a variety of crops is essential to agricultural production and overall food security. By cultivating a mixture of plant species in the same field, the genetic diversity of the field is greatly increased. This strengthens farming systems and promotes healthier plant growth. Crop diversity also benefits pollination, insect management, and water retention. Despite these advantages, industrial agriculture tends to depend on a small number of high-yielding crop varieties, preferable for lengthy storage and shipment. These monocrops typically are grown year after year on the same land. Therefore, they are more vulnerable to pest outbreaks. They reduce soil nutrients, and to be maintained, require heavy reliance on pesticides, herbicides, and fertilizers. Depending on the location, they also require substantial irrigation. Monocrop systems are generally not sustainable. To help increase and promote crop diversity, seed banks and exchanges are part of a growing movement for healthier food. Farmers and local gardeners share and exchange seeds with the goal of preserving heirloom crops known to do well locally. This greater diversity allows our garden heritage to thrive as seeds are passed to future generations. A preference for crop varieties that produce large amounts of cheap food has resulted in an emphasis on appearance, storability, and transportability. The benefits of this may include ease of long-distance shipment to regions where certain foods may be out of season or not grown. However, in promoting these crops, nutritional content has often been overlooked. Studies have shown that the vitamin and mineral content of fruits and vegetables has been declining over the past 6 decades. For example, the modern supermarket tomato contains approximately 31% less vitamin A and 17% less vitamin C than its 1963 counterpart. On the other hand, eating food that is grown locally and in an ecologically responsible manner means eating fresh, healthy, and nutritionally rich food good for you, the environment, and local farmers. While few people can grow all of their own food, most of us can grow some in a backyard garden, a community garden plot, or a collection of containers on a balcony or a windowsill. Supporting local farms and markets offers another wonderful way to discover new and interesting foods that are not available at the supermarket. In the 1990s, the notion of food miles was introduced as people began considering in greater detail exactly where their food comes from. Food miles are a way of examining the energy used and carbon emissions of food transport from the source to the point of consumption. They take into account the total amount of fuel, labor, and other resources used in shipping. Although the concept is an oversimplification, food miles have been important in bringing awareness to the topic of food sustainability. Numerous factors, including multiple ingredients combined in processed food, biodiversity, local employment, fair trade, waste reduction, and ecological integrity all play important roles in understanding the fundamental sustainability of any given food system. This is not a matter of local food being good and global food being bad. Sustainability means producing food that is healthy for consumers, does not deplete natural resources or harm the environment, provides fair wages, and supports local communities. Gardening and growing our own food connects us to the earth and can also connect us to the people around us, family, friends, and neighbors. Community gardens create opportunities for neighbors to get to know each other and help those in need. Farm markets are often hubs of the community, bringing together a diversity of growers, musicians, community members, artisans, and local food vendors. By purchasing food directly from local farmers, consumers support the local economy and help to preserve local agricultural land, vital to local food security. Through a direct connection with our local farmers, we are able to see exactly where our food comes from and how it is produced. We're able to make informed decisions about what we choose to eat, and we are able to develop a sense of place between the food we consume and the communities in which we live. The issue of healthy and sustainable food and gardens requires us to be conscientious, ecologically and socially responsible consumers. We can choose to be educated consumers. We can choose to grow some of our own food, and we can choose to create communities whose core values are caring for the planet, caring for each other, and being responsible stewards of our land and resources for future generations. Our goal must be healthy food, healthy people, healthy communities, and a healthy world, a campaign everyone is welcome to join. The following community success stories were chosen to highlight the innovative diversity of today's community-based, sustainable, and local food initiatives, which are creating hope and food for the future. It is our hope that the passion and creativity of these individuals will inspire you to take action in your own lives and to work together to create a positive change in your neighborhood and in communities around the world. The sprawling metropolis of Sao Paulo, Brazil, is home to the third largest urban population in the world. The city has grown rapidly, and many areas cannot effectively accommodate their large populations. The east side is full of poverty, crime, poor sanitation, and high rates of unemployment. For families in these poor outskirt communities, food baskets are sometimes their only source of nourishment. Hans-Dieter Temp, a local resident, decided to take steps concerning this pressing need for positive action in Sao Paulo's urban sprawl. In 2004, he launched Cities Without Hunger. This organization works to reduce the negative conditions affecting Sao Paulo's socially endangered residents. Hans-Dieter is dedicated to creating opportunities for people in need, and these opportunities begin in a garden. Hans-Dieter grew up in a farming family and believes that urban agriculture is an integral part of sustainable urban development. Cities Without Hunger employs unused private and public land to create urban gardens. With freshly grown fruits and vegetables, Cities Without Hunger is successfully reducing hunger and joblessness in the city. In its first 6 years, the organization set up 21 agricultural sites. These gardens provided income to more than 600 local residents and food to many more. By transforming unused empty lots into urban farming hubs, Cities Without Hunger is improving life and providing hope where Sao Paulo needs it most. Humberto Rios Labrada is a scientist and biodiversity researcher. He is passionate about crop diversity for the sustainable future of farming. In 1991, the Cuban economy collapsed and the country experienced major food shortages. Most of Cuba's agriculture shifted to the monocropping of sugarcane. As a result, crop diversity and soil quality drastically declined. Realizing that these monocrops were not sustainable, Humberto began working with local farmers to promote pre-industrial farming techniques. Over the past few years, Humberto has facilitated new collaboration between scientists and farmers. Through his research and dedication, he has significantly changed the face of farming in Cuba. Since starting his work, a network of seed and knowledge exchanges has spread across the country. With yields 2 to 3 times greater than they were previously, farmers' income has increased. Many of Cuba's farmers have become leaders in breeding plant varieties best suited to these new sustainable growing conditions. In contrast to the methods of industrial farming, Humberto's farmers combine crops, plant according to the phases of the moon, and use natural plant extracts as pesticides and organic compost as fertilizer. In La Palma, the diversity of beans grown has increased from 2 or 3 varieties to upwards of 200. The government has taken notice of Humberto's work and now demands that alternative methods be part of agricultural development throughout Cuba. Humberto dreams that in time, Cuba will become a definitively organic agriculture island. In 2010, he won the prestigious Goldman Environmental Prize, which recognized his outstanding efforts in environmental protection at the grassroots level. Food and Trees for Africa began in 1990 when a group of concerned individuals came together to address environmental issues in South Africa. The organization facilitates environmental awareness and greening programs. Food and Trees for Africa is dedicated to promoting a healthy and sustainable quality of life. In 2009, Food and Trees for Africa was approached by Helen Joseph Hospital in Johannesburg. The hospital was seeking help to develop a permaculture food garden on its grounds. To help speed patient recovery, staff wanted to grow food to provide patients with nutritious and balanced meals. In 2010, Food and Trees for Africa created a permaculture starter pack supported by Grant Thornton. The hospital was given gardening tools, seeds, seedlings, educational material, and some on-site training. Within a few months, the garden was producing fresh, organic, and nutrient-rich produce for hospital meals. Staff soon realized that working in the garden also helped with patient rehabilitation. Another benefit is that hospital food waste is now used to make compost for the garden. The project was coordinated by Naomi Sithole, the hospital's clinical executive. She has won numerous awards for her work at South African hospitals, including recognition from South Africa's Center for Public Service Innovation. With the creation of the Helen Joseph Hospital Permaculture Garden, Sithole shows that with innovation and motivation, change for the better is always within our grasp. With 16 million residents, Mumbai is India's most populous city. On the harbor, the Mumbai Port Trust provides facilities for handling, storing, and delivering cargo and containers. Nestled within the busy streets and high-rises of this noisy and crowded metropolis, the Mumbai Port Trust is also home to an unexpected garden oasis. With approximately 2,000 employees, the company produces significant volumes of organic waste in its cafeteria on a daily basis. In 2002, Preeti Patil, the Port Trust's catering officer, took it upon herself to recycle this so-called garbage. To do this, she started a mini farm on the terrace off the company's central kitchen. When Preeti began, the terrace was home to a pile of unusable articles. Today, over 150 varieties of fruits, vegetables, flowers, and medicinal plants thrive in the same space. And 90% of the cafeteria's organic waste is recycled, used to grow these plants. Using drums, wastebaskets, and brick rings, staff grow a huge variety of crops including sugarcane, starfruit, tamarind, guava, tomatoes, bananas, corn, cashew nuts, oranges, and mustard. What started with 5 plants in 2002 has grown into an amazing green space that inspires action from other corporations, students, and families in Mumbai. With motivation, daily care, and a dream to reduce canteen waste, Preeti Patil and the Mumbai Port Trust have created the most successful example of city gardening in Mumbai. Life Cycles is a Canadian-based not-for-profit in Victoria, British Columbia. The organization is dedicated to the belief that all people at all times should have access to healthy food. Through its innovative hands-on programs, Life Cycles creates a better world by fostering connections between members of its community while improving local food security. Through their Growing Schools program, Life Cycles offers curriculum-based food and gardening workshops for local students. The organization works in partnership with schools to help create school gardens that are used as outdoor classrooms. Ultimately, the organization would like to see a garden in every school in the region. Another innovative initiative is Sharing Backyards. Using web mapping technology, Sharing Backyards promotes urban gardening by connecting individuals with underused land with those seeking space to grow food. Life Cycles Fruit Tree Project is another successful example of how a community working together can improve local food security. This program links homeowners who have surplus produce in their yards to volunteer pickers and local groups and individuals who do not have access to fresh produce. Fresh cherries, plums, apples, and pears that would otherwise go to waste help feed hundreds of local residents through food banks and other community organizations. The success of Life Cycle's many initiatives and its ongoing commitment to urban sustainability is inspirational. Through its educational programs, its partnerships, and its role in creating urban organic food gardens, Life Cycles shows the positive difference that can happen in our communities. On the outskirts of Beijing, China, lies 8.5 hectares of organic farmland. This is Little Donkey Farm. The land was originally a research base for Renmin University, but over the past few years it has been transformed into what has been called China's first community-shared agriculture. The woman responsible for this transformation is Shi Yan, a doctoral candidate at the university. In 2008, she spent 6 months on an organic farm in Minnesota, learning exactly how community-shared agriculture operates. With community-shared agriculture, community members pay a fee to support a local farm throughout the growing season. They receive weekly boxes of seasonal harvest and, along with growers, share the risks and the benefits of the year's food production. Little Donkey Farm blends this traditional model with that of a community garden. Throughout the growing season, non-working members receive their weekly box of produce. Working share members, on the other hand, are given a 30 square meter garden plot, seeds, fertilizer, and tools. They tend to their own land, harvesting what they grow for themselves. The farm has been very successful in creating connections between community members and their food. Little Donkey Farm is funded by the government and the university. Management lies with the not-for-profit Guaren Urban Rural Mutual Co-op, a social enterprise focused on sustainability and the environmental function of traditional agriculture. When it comes to local grassroots action, the town of Todmorden in West Yorkshire, England, certainly knows what it's doing. Todmorden, population 15,000, has transformed the way it produces food. It all began in 2008 when Pam Warhurst, a local cafe owner, founded Incredible Edible Todmorden. Warhurst believes that we need to change the way we think, live, and value our environment. With Incredible Edible Todmorden, she works to increase local job opportunities and the amount of local food that is grown and eaten in town. What began with just a few herb gardens and tree plantings has grown into a large-scale community initiative. Herbs, vegetables, and fruits are grown all over town, with local businesses, farmers, and residents all involved. Each of Todmorden's 8 schools has its own garden, and local food is served in the cafeterias. The fire, police, and rail stations, as well as the local cemetery and Unitarian church, all have edible gardens on their properties. In the town center, residents enjoy produce from Help Yourself gardens. Fruit trees and an apothecary's garden replaced prickly shrubs outside the town's health center. When in season, individuals are encouraged to enjoy some fruit. As Incredible Edible Todmorden looks to the future, they hope to establish a jam-making center and a woodworking shop producing chicken coops and greenhouses. A fish farm is in the works at Todmorden High School, and a local elderly care home has designed a wheelchair-accessible vegetable garden. Incredible Edible Todmorden, an inspiring example of what a community can achieve by working together. People are informed, excited, and embracing healthy local food. These inspiring success stories are only a fraction of the thousands of positive community-based food initiatives taking place all over the world in cities and neighborhoods like yours. These are stories of people like you who saw a need and took positive action. At the Harmony Foundation, it is our hope that these stories will inspire and inform you to work with others to make a real difference in your community and in your world.